G'day guys, it's Hillboy from LastXplorer, and this is In the Shed, where we talk about everything that happens before you get on your trip. Last couple of weeks here have been pretty exciting. We've had a few gear sponsors jump on board. We've had Falcon, they've come to the party, they've given us a couple of sets of Wild Peak AT3Ws to test. We're looking forward to putting some hard miles on those bad boys. Bundu Tech have given us one of their More Me soft rooftop tents, so that'll be going on Project Rangy. And Isuzu have given us a D-Max for the next couple of trips that we have planned. So we're looking forward to taking that out and showing you a little bit more about the D-Max as well. So it's all happening here. It's getting bigger, it's getting more exciting, and we're looking forward to bringing you some really awesome content. So stick around and let's see what we've got coming up next.
Folks, Hawkeye here from LastXplorer. I've just picked up our FJ, affectionately known as Fred. Now what we've chosen to have done today is an underbody rust protection. So when Kim and I were living on the Gibb River Road after we left Sydney, a lot of rocks, dust, all the corrugations that we drove over, they all had a really adverse effect on the underneath of the car. Apart from some suspension and tyre problems, the major issue was the fact that all the rocks acted like sandblasting. It took off all the paint, and then as soon as we moved to the territory, all the salt air living near the sea latched straight onto that bare metal, and there was a lot of brown surface rust under there. A little more than I'm comfortable with, if we'll be honest. So what I've done is I've looked up a mob here in Broome, Kimberley Auto Care. Now these guys actually have a product that they use called beam rust proofing. I hadn't heard of it before, but after doing my research I figured it was a pretty good gamble. And what they've done is they've taken back the whole underneath of the car, high pressure washed it, got every bit of gunk, grime, surface crap off it, and now it's been coated in a membrane which will stop it from further rusting up, stop the moisture and the air getting to it. So for me this is a pretty good way of ensuring that I can now take this around Australia, take it on severe rugged roads. I can actually drive it on the beach and just hose it off and not worry about the exposed metal on the bottom rusting away or not being able to get off bolts on components when I need to change out parts. So I'm pretty happy. I'm really happy actually with the result. It's nice to give old Freddie a birthday, give him a bit of detail on the outside. It's not a big deal, but it certainly helps, you know, when you're traveling around and this is your home, to take a bit of pride in it. So highly recommend looking into having at least some sort of rust prevention or treatment done to the vehicle if you're traveling.
Hi, Ian here from Bundu Tech Australia. We're here with James from LastXplorer. We'll be with them through this series and try and give you as much information as we can. We're going to take you through the fitting of a typical Bundu top tent. This is now one of the most popular rooftop tents. A little bit of background on our company. I started with Bundu Tech South Africa almost right at the very beginning 6 years ago. These guys headed up by Martin and Sunky, and now the rest of the family have taken the business over. Is in its 6th year of trading. This product has all come about from the simple reason of the family trying to find a quicker, faster, easier, more reliable way to camp, and their love was a rooftop tent.
Here we have the Bundu top being installed. These things are handmade in South Africa and then imported by Bundu Tech Australia. And these things are pretty popular. There's currently about a 4-month wait on one if you want to get a new one. And it's easy to see why. These tents are pretty impressive. The quality on them is right up there. It's top notch. To see how quickly and easily these Bundu top tents go up really is something that needs to be seen to be believed. I got a quick demonstration of how this thing went up earlier on in the day when Ian was giving a prospective client a demonstration, and then I decided I thought I'd sneak out by myself and have a quick go at it. And as you can see, even though I mucked it up, I still managed to get this thing up in under 2 minutes.
So one of the things I was thinking about on this trip was, that we've got coming up, was I don't want to carry a lot of unnecessary weight. So that made me think about all the stuff I normally take on a trip. And do I actually need it? Now, and should I be using other things instead of it? Now I've already realised that there's no point in me taking my camp stove on this trip, because James has got a perfectly good stove and we'll use his, and he's got gas bottles with his, etc, etc, so I don't need to take lots of little gas bottles either. And hopefully on this trip we'll be doing a lot of campfires, so we'll be able to cook on the campfires. So as a result of that, I don't need to take extra cooking gear, or not sorry, extra cooking gear, but the stove, extra things like that as well, because hopefully we'll be able to use the campfires a lot. That's one of my aims for this trip, to actually be able to cook on the fire quite a lot. Now, other things that got me thinking was some of the stuff that I've collected over the years, I don't actually use, or I've used a few times that hasn't worked, and as a result of that, gone, am I going to use it again? Now, one of those items I've had, and I bought it a few years ago, and I've used it several times, and every time I've used it, it's been a complete and utter disaster. I know what it's supposed to do. All I can think of, am I using it wrong? But I don't see how I can use it wrong. And that's this. An egg holder. I've had more luck carrying eggs loose in a fridge than I have in an egg holder. The thing with an egg holder is, you open it up at some point, it's freaking hard to open up, so you end up spilling half the eggs anyway. If you look inside there, I don't know if you can see, there's little spikes in there to hold the eggs in place. Now those spikes do hold the eggs in place, but they're too tall. So when you close the egg, unless you have a tiny, tiny little egg, which will rattle around and break anyway, you close the egg and you end up crushing the egg with the spikes. I've broken more eggs using this piece of plastic that's supposed to keep eggs secure than I have with an egg box or carrying eggs loose. So for me, it's crap. It goes in the bin. It won't be coming on the next trip. What else have I got? Oh, this is awesome. This is my little coffee machine. This will definitely be coming on the trip. As will the kettle and a few other pieces. This is the coffee machine, that's the extra bits for it. This is one of the best investments I've ever made. Espresso, take coffee, makes fresh ground espresso every morning, and away you go in about 3 minutes. Matt's obsessed with his AeroPress. I'm obsessed with my Wakako coffee. So mini presso. I love it. It's great. It'll be used extensively on this next trip.
G'day folks, I want to introduce you to the newest and one of the most important members of our team. Not the Kelpie pup, that's our neighbours. This is Kim, my girlfriend, and more importantly, she's LastXplorer's production manager. So it's Kim's job to, from home, before we even leave on this trip, make sure that we have all our ducks in a row. We know where we're going, what we need to know about the places, any culturally sensitive or logistical information and history. Kim sorts that out on paper before we even start rolling. So she's a very important part of the team, and I wanted to present her to you today and let you know a bit about who Kim is, what makes her tick, where she's from. So I'll let her do the talking. Tell us a little bit about what has led you to be interested in travel and why you were made to do a job like this.
So for me, my travel story begins probably about 17 years ago, when my family took me and my sister on a trip around Australia when I was 10, and yeah, from there every school holidays was exploring a different part of the country, learning all the ins and outs of what makes Australia tick as a beautiful country that it is. And yeah, it really fueled my interest in getting out there and exploring. And then nearly 3 years ago I dragged this mug out of Sydney and we set off on our exploration adventure of the country.
And here we are in the Kimberley, living with horses and sheep paddocks and neighbours and palm trees, and very happy. So apart from being our production manager, what's a little bit about you? What do you do in the rest of your spare time that you tie in?
Apart from wearing awesome flamingo shirts?
Apart from wearing awesome flamingo shirts.
Well, I'm a little bit of a doer.
Yeah.
Yes, what can't be fixed with zip ties and duct tape can definitely be fixed with a sewing machine. So that's my hobby. I'm a sewer and a little bit of an artist as well. So for me, it's, you know, the inspiration you get from Australia is so amazing that you could not be a little bit creative when you get out in these beautiful places. But also I like to know a little bit about where we're going, you know, do a little bit of reading and research on the places that might be of interest for a fellow traveller along the line, and, or, you know, you guys as you head out on your expeditions. So.
Awesome. All right, well, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to having you on the next adventure.
I hope so.
So, it's Saturday morning. It's 2 weeks out before we leave on our trip. I woke up this morning in a little bit of a mild panic. Will everything fit in the back of the Rangy? I wanted to pack lighter. I wanted to take less on this trip, so it should be okay. But just to be on the safe side, I've done a trial pack and I've set a couple of things up for the trip. Now, when I say we're traveling lighter, I've managed to get rid of some of the stuff that I would normally take. Now, James and I share a lot of the same gear, or we take the same gear, I should say. So I'm not taking some of the gear James is taking, and James isn't taking some of the gear that I would normally take. So between the two of us, we've got at least one of everything, and that should keep us going for this trip. We're going in some pretty remote areas, so I need to make sure we've got everything covered. So, first thing first, the fridge is in the back of the truck. So the fridge has been mounted on its slider. I've put it up in its extended size. Pull it out. Now, I use a Bushman fridge. I love the Bushman fridge. I love the versatility of the sizing. I've actually got it in its full size mode now, which is about 57 litres. That's usually enough to cover it for most outback trips, especially when you're only going for a couple of weeks. Not all the beer will fit in there, but most of the steaks and most of the food will though. So I may have to shuffle a few things around to keep the beer nice and cold. One thing I have done, which I've nicked from 4X Overland, and I think is a genius idea, I've fitted Velcro to things. So with Velcro attached, and I put some Velcro on the sides in the Rangy, I can just attach things. Look. And there it is. The battery charger is locked in place. So I'm going to mount on the side of the Rangy, inverter, battery chargers, all the stuff that would normally need to be tucked away, but I'd need to use and charge up on a regular basis. That'll keep them nice and secure and safe. Also, if I run out of space on there, the Velcro will also stick to the carpet on the side. Fantastic idea. Thank you, Andrew. So what else have we got in here? Recovery gear, tools, kitchen gear. I haven't folded the seats down yet. There's a reason for that. It's got a small child. Obviously might have to use the car. That'll get done over the next week or so. Just realised that I can't actually access the fire extinguisher very easily. Might have to change things around a little bit just so I can improve the access to that. Maybe the fire extinguisher can sit up here on the bulkhead on this. So where are we going on this trip? I've already said we're going to the outback. Okay, we're starting off in Burke, which is really the start of the outback for New South Wales. From Burke, instead of heading directly to Cameron Corner, we're actually going to take a little bit of a dog leg up, head up through Angonia, and then across to Wenaring, Tibooburra, and then Cameron Corner. From Cameron Corner, we're going to take the Streslecki track and work through Murdy, and then down to Lyndhurst and Maree. Then there's a couple of options of camping once we get to Murray. We'll either camp on or near Lake Eyre, or we'll camp in Murray itself. Then from Murray we're going to head over to William Creek and hopefully camp somewhere on Lake Eyre there while we're there. Then from William Creek we're going to double back a bit and then head up the Birdsville track and head up to Birdsville. Now the Birdsville track is open. Unfortunately the inside track is still closed. They've had a lot of rain in the area, so it's going to be a little bit wet in places. If the inside track's open, we'll take the inside track, otherwise we'll have to stick to the main track. Now this trip, I can't wait to do this trip. I've done a lot of the tracks around this trip, but I've never actually done the whole trip itself. And I've never actually been to Birdsville either. I've been around Birdsville, but never actually been to Birdsville. I can't wait, it's going to be awesome. Stay tuned to Last Explorer, you'll see more.
Alright, here we go. We're about 5 minutes from home. We're heading up towards Mannheim for the beginning of the Shipbox rally. How do you feel, Vix? First rally?
Excited.
Excited?
Excited, very excited. Can't wait. I'm on pole.
You're on pole. Yeah, Vix is driving off first. What are you looking forward to most?
Crossing the finish line in this car.
The Shipbox Rally is an annual car rally designed to raise money for the Cancer Council Australia. This year, their 9th year, they raised $1.9 million, and to date they've raised almost $14 million. The concept is simple. You buy a car worth less than $1,000, you can do whatever you like to it as long as it comes in at less than $1,000, and then you make it look absolutely awesome, and you can spend as much money as you like making it look awesome. With your car sorted, you head off on an epic journey across Australia. This year was from Brisbane to Darwin, some 3,880 kilometres, and most of it is on dirt road. This year was even more special. I got to do it with my sister, and we did it in memory of her friend Jo. We're on the road, we're just outside of Mannheim now. We're about to make our first left turn and let the rally begin.
Yay!
Woo! We were just over an hour into the rally, climbing the mountain ranges into Toowoomba, when I heard a thud. We'd thrown a fan belt, and I tell you what, I've never seen a temperature gauge climb so quickly before. Right, so we're back on the road again. Fan belt, we have a new fan belt, quick trip to Super Cheap Auto, some new green blood. We tightened the power steering, well, our support team tightened the power steering, so we're going to get through maybe the second hour.
Fingers crossed.
Let's do it. Here we are, beginning of day 2, freezing cold. I think it was minus 0.8 degrees this morning. Luckily we were nice and toasty warm inside our swags. Today, as you can see, is Jazzercise Day. Woohoo! So let's bring it on.
Yep. Woo!
First day.
Woo!
What do you think of the rally so far?
Awesome. We're going to hit the road. We're going to hit the dirt today, which is going to be interesting.
You let out driving this morning?
Yep.
Excellent. What did you think of the flash dance this morning?
Interesting. Unique.
Oh, it's
a lot of fluoro.
Absolutely. Alright, it's the end of the second day. We've arrived at Yaraka. Yaraka?
Yeah,
good enough. Yaraka. And we're fairly early in compared to other teams at the moment, which is a lot better than yesterday. We were one of the last teams in. So cold beer time, as you can see, just above Vicky's head. Glass of wine, and it's time to relax.
Excellent. Prepare for tomorrow.
Prepare for tomorrow. Right, so at the beginning of day 3, we've had a fairly slow morning. Got stuck behind a slower buddy group, so we've been driving for about 2 hours. We've only done about 130, 140k, which is a bit slow. We've got a big day ahead of us. We've still got another 450 odd k to go. Yeah, Vix is driving. Vix is doing the second stint. Woo. There you go, over there.
Yeah, good.
Good. Excellent. We'll get on to it. See ya. The only guarantee you get with a $1,000 car is that something is going to break, especially when you see the roads that we were taking these cars across and the punishment they were popping. In fact, they say if you don't end up on the back of the trailer or in triage at some stage during the rally, then you're not getting the full rally experience. So there's 250 teams in the rally, and they get broken down into buddy groups of 6 and 7. And this is as much as a safety factor as anything else. So if somebody in your buddy group stops, everybody stops. Right, so it's probably around about 7 o'clock. We've just rolled into town. It's the end of day 4. It's been a huge day. What have we done today? We've been on dirt. We've had about 300 kilometres of dirt. We've had tar road. We did our tribute drive past to Sean earlier on today. We've resupplied in Mount Isa. It's just been an epic day. Another really good solid day. Me and my sister, we're having a lot of fun, and it's quite an experience. It really is.
Hi, it's the start of day 5, and this is the furthest James has been before. So we're going to have a good day today. It's probably majority it's half and half.
Half and half, yeah,
Half and half today. And we've heard that the dirt road that we go on has a lot of trucks on it, so we've either got to get off or
just get out of the way, basically.
Yeah. So It should be good.
So if all goes well, we should be at Cape Crawford tonight.
Yep.
And yeah, should be a fun day.
Yeah. Right,
See you guys. After 4 days of solid driving, we finally crossed the border into the Northern Territory. Now, they say your buddy group is the heart and soul of your rally experience. And if you don't stick with your buddy group, you end up just having a really long drive. And our buddy group were absolutely awesome. We're in triage. The Swedish Ski Patrol mobile has a rather large oil leak. We've gone through about 6 litres of oil today. Just gonna lift up its skirt and see if there's a simple solution. So we're up to the beginning of day 5? Day 5? 6. Day 6. And we've had a bit of a drama. One of our idler pulleys the bearing has died, to put it politely. So we've had to quickly rip that out this morning, and then we'll get on the road again. So we're just about to head up now. No power steering.
We'll work on our guns today.
Gun workout today. The rally is the pure definition of adventure. In just over a week, you get to see more of Outback Australia than most Australians do in their entire lives. Midway through day 6, the oil leak on the Volvo came back to haunt us. We ended up on the side of the road for a couple of hours trying to get this issue sorted out and fixed. And this is where we thank the support crew for their time and help. Thanks to their efforts, we managed to get this Volvo back off this trailer and back on the road again to complete the rally. Shipbox Rally 2018! Woo!